I'm Quinn talking about working with Matt Patricia. 248-539-9797. We got open lines. So $10,000 you give up the last season of Game of Thrones for $10,000.
I would do it for $10,000.
But not for $1,000.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
I've got my price.
Yep.
Apparently it's $10,000.
Would you do it for $5,000?
No.
The $10,000 offers off the table. You wouldn't do it for $5,000.
No.
Kang, you do it for $10,000 but not $5,000?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Game of Thrones?
No, not $10,000. I said no.
Oh, you wouldn't?
No.
I've got my price, and it's higher than $10,000.
$15,000?
Getting warmer.
16.5.
17.5. Leave it in a brown paper bag. No wiretaps. All right.
Untraceable, unmarked.
Right. We're talking on a burner phone,
bills.
right? Burner phone.
All right.
Are you calling me from a cellular phone right now? I don't know who you are. Crank caller.
The competition committee is going to meet down in Indy, and the catch rule is on the docket. According to the Giants owner, John Mara, they want to eliminate the surviving the ground aspect of the catch rule, which basically means Calvin Johnson's catch was a catch. The rule that we knew was effed up from day one is what they're trying to overturn.
The Calvin one continues to befuddle me beyond belief, how that was ruled the way it was ruled. Given that he caught the ball, his buttocks were in the end zone, he had 3 feet down, 2 knees down, a roll, and stands up and then lets go of the ball because he's in the end zone. It's a touchdown, and then they ruled it incomplete. It was still unbelievable, too, with all those things that went on. It used to be it was so simple in the NFL. 2 feet down, catch the ball, you got possession, you know? Mm-hmm. Then they started messing with it, and you had the Calvin thing, the Des Bryant thing. I'm sure Pittsburgh fans are upset by it was Jesse James, that thing at the goal line, even though that one I completely agree that was not a catch. But I just hope they make it simple when interpreting what's a catch and what isn't a catch.
Yep.
But I still think they're going to screw it up.
Do you?
Yeah.
Because what keeps happening is they keep adding more language. And the more language that gets added, the more complicated it gets. It's almost like they have to eliminate language. They have to go back, erase everything, and start all over.
Well, would it be better if they just simply said leave it up to the referee's discretion? Give him the eyeball test when he's reviewing the play. Either it's a catch or it's not a catch.
Are you talking about the replay ref or the ref on the field? Because the problem is that the replay ref has the advantage of slow motion replay, can see a ball that might be shifting in somebody's hand, can see, a bobble. What
if they said that in replaying the catches that you can't slow it down? Unless it's breaking the plane, like for touchdowns, or a fumble, that you can't slow it down. If you're talking about a catch and you're going to get down to a frame by frame thing to see if he bobbled it, that seems a bit much for a catch, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just judge it at regular speed, live speed.
Yeah. So then the other thing that they're looking at is that pass interference may be reduced from a spot foul to a 15-yard penalty, which is the college rule. How do you feel about that?
I'm good with it. Because I don't like the idea that you can just chuck a ball up in the air at the end of the game and hope for interference, and all of a sudden you've got a goal-to-go situation. I think it's a penalty. I don't think I think it should be just what it is. It's a 15-yard penalty.
I've given this a lot of thought, and I'm trying to figure out. I'm not sure I'm good with it, and here's why. In the NFL, the defensive backs and the coverage is so good that when somebody gets burned deep or by a double move, they don't get burned that bad. Like in college, guys can get turned inside out. But in the NFL, you might get burned deep, but generally you don't get absolutely toasted because of the level of how good defensive backs are in the NFL. But I think and because of that, they're close enough to do the following. Tackle a guy that's about to catch a 50-yard pass to save 35 yards. I think you'll see a lot of intentional grabbing, holding, tackling because the NFL defensive back is so good that when they get burned, it's ever so slightly, and they will be in a position to tackle somebody to keep from giving up a huge gainer. And so I think I'm talking myself out of liking this rule. I think it has to be a spot foul.
Yeah, no, I'm still I like how it is in college. 15 yards. Because you start getting to other things like, okay, holding, you're going to hold a defensive end because you don't want him to kill your quarterback when you're totally beaten, right? You're going to tackle the guy. Yep. Well, you got away with it. You called for a 10-yard penalty, but at least you didn't risk losing your quarterback, which could be more catastrophic than giving up a deep pass on a touchdown.
Generally, the 10-yard penalty saves a 10-ish yard loss. This is the difference between what could be a 40, 50-yard gain and a 15-yard gain. I don't think it's punitive enough. But I mean, I'm not gonna fight you on it.
Oh, it's 15 yards and automatic first down.
248-539-9797. Ken in St. Clair Shores. Hi, Ken.
Good afternoon, guys. I just want to comment on Gator's comment about instant replay going frame by frame. I've been saying I hate instant replay for any sport, mainly because it goes frame by frame by frame. The game is not meant to be played that way. It's always been judged by the human element. And I think if they want replay, just replay it at normal speed.
I got to tell you, the weird thing about it is the only reason to have replay is to get everything exactly right. However, there's a lot of truth in what you're saying. Like we've gotten to the point where we've gotten so wrapped up in the minutia that we're changing the rules of the game to accommodate the minutia. The bobbling, the slight movement of a ball in a hand, the surviving of the ground, that whole thing.
Or fumble, I just hate when I watch it going frame by frame and there's a ball carrier whose knee is an eighth of an inch from the ground and the ball begins to move. I mean, the game is never meant to be played that way.
No, but of course, once we start changing the catch rule, there's going to be a lot more fumbles. Because what we're going to have is these things ruled catches and fumbles instead of just incomplete.
Well, it could be, but again, I know you want to get the game right and you want everything to be correct, but there has to be a limit to how far you go to determine that.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's frame by frame looking at it at a monitor. I mean, it's the referees are responsible for making it. They don't always make the right call. They make a lot of bad calls, but personally, I'd rather see the referee make it or replay it full speed and make it determined that way, because that's the way the game is played. And all games for anything, for any sport.
Thank you very much for the phone call, Ken. 248-539-9797. All right, coming up next hour at 12:35, a superstar did this with their dog. Would you? We'll get to that at 12:35. 97.1 The Ticket.